It wasn't really a fast-paced thing. William wasn't feeling at the edge or anything like that. But he had had a few shots of whiskey, and there was a Budweiser in the car between his legs, and there wasn't any music playing, and no matter how many drinks from the can of beer he took, his mouth was still dry like the desert he was passing by. And all he kept thinking about was how he should be playing music, and if he should text her to let her know he was coming over, and if there was fucking cotton in his mouth or what. It was nearly impossible to swallow. He pulled into the garage of the apartments, and he's thinking, I swear to God my stomach is upside down. And he's thinking, I won't even make it up the elevator, I'm going to fall over. But he's standing in the elevator, and he's pressing the 12th floor, and he's looking at the beer in his hand, wondering why he brought it with him because it's empty now. As the elevator dinged, he set the can down on the ground in the center of the elevator and somehow found it in him to smile. And now he was feeling okay all of a sudden. And as he walked down the long, dimly lit hallway, he held his head high. He knocked on the door. No answer. He knocked again. Nothing. He tried the handle and the door opened. Inside, it was a mess. Not the way the place looked when he left. He walked in and looked around more, a small plate lying on the table, a razor blade, a credit card, some crushed pills of some sort. Definitely not the way the place looked when he left. He looked at all the furniture they had bought together. He looked at the things he had left on his desk, at all his books on the bookshelf, the scattered pictures of him and her together in San Francisco that were strewn across the floors. He thought about the Talking Heads song. He thought about leaving. He thought, why did I come here? He looked into the bedroom. There was a body under the sheets. She was still asleep. He slowly approached the doorway. As he neared, he realized that it was not her, but a guy. Jerry, her new boyfriend. And almost comically, he audibly said, holy fuck. He looked around the bedroom. She was not home. It was just her new boyfriend, asleep in William's bed. Suddenly, he felt like laughing hysterically. Was this really a situation that happens? He didn't laugh, though, and he didn't smile. He actually felt bad. He felt nervous for the bearded man sleeping in his bed. He felt scared, maybe of himself. He didn't know. He sat down on the foot of the bed and placed his hand on the man and very gently shook him and said, Hey, wake up. And the man slowly stirred, and then woke with a great shock, shifted back against the wall on the bed hard, and grabbed his glasses on the bedside table and put them on, and grabbed his chest and was sort of gasping, probably terrified. He was saying, oh shit, okay. You gotta get up, I'm getting my stuff. They were in the living room, and Jerry was looking for some weed to smoke, and William said, pour me a glass of that whiskey. And Jerry got a glass, and did. William was thinking, those glasses are dirty. The water here is contaminated now, and he was thinking about a dream he had and how he was washing his hair in the shower and all the colored dye his ex-girlfriend had put in her hair was washing out of his own hair. Then he was shaking his head and realizing he was more drunk than he thought, and when he looked over, Jerry was smoking the weed and sitting in a chair in the corner of the room. I don't know really what to talk about, William said as he unzipped his suitcase from the bedroom and began throwing books into it. I don't know. Jerry paused. Thank you for not stabbing me or anything. I wouldn't stab you. Helen said you were going to stab me. Yeah, I've thought about it. William was putting books in the suitcase. He was looking at all the books he was putting in. He was remembering some drunk night 2 years prior. Him and Helen in front of the bookcase, organizing them on the shelves by author. He was thinking about her and thinking he couldn't imagine her sitting on this hardwood floor like that again. Then he realized Jerry had said something, if not a lot of somethings, and he looked back at him, hunched over, looking like a sad animal or something. I'm just saying I'm sorry for coming and fucking up your entire life. William didn't say anything back, but he thought, looking at Jerry's face, they both understood that it was okay, whatever that meant. Jerry had stood up, and William had him put some books in a suitcase for him, and all the hate and rage he had accumulated for this new boyfriend quickly diminished, and he realized he was just a very confused person too. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he had a drug problem, and probably had a terrible childhood too, and we're all just in one big stupid place together, hurting each other and bouncing around from one thing to another, hurting one another and getting hurt by one another. She's confused, and she'll do this to you too. She'll end up doing the same thing to you because she's done this to everyone, William said, looking at Jerry. I don't know, Jerry said, looking at the floor. You should get into some sort of rehab. You shouldn't die. I know. Then the door. It was being unlocked, and Jerry and William looked over, and they both felt the exact same feeling when Helen walked through the door. She was sobbing, and her hands were shaking. She was thin. She looked frail and healthy. Who was this girl coming back into my apartment, William thought. Her face was swollen and red. She looked at William and then Jerry, and she was probably about to faint. She screamed, "What the fuck are you both doing here? Why are you both here?" "I came to get my stuff," William said to the bookcase. "Get out! Both of you get out!" she screamed as she went into the bathroom and slammed the door. Jerry quickly went to her and let himself in. She screamed, but he went in anyway, and William was thinking it's his job to console her now. She was not his to console her. He continued to gather the stuff on his desk, grabbing his typewriter she had bought him and the pages of poems he had typed on it. Helen came out of the bathroom angrily and stomped into the bedroom and closed the door, and Jerry lingered in the living room with William. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Helen came out and handed Jerry some necklaces she had been wearing, and Jerry was very visibly hurt by this. Jerry went into the room after her again. She screamed, and he sort of shouted back, and William was getting very upset by this whole ordeal, but at no point did he feel at the edge, and at no point did he consider grabbing the knife from the woodblock on the kitchen counter and going in there and stabbing Jerry, romantically, of course, in the heart. At no point did he feel like that. Not once, not ever. He never felt like doing that to Jerry, stabbing him in the heart with all the blood in it. William pulled a huge suitcase and the boxes toward the door and finished his whiskey. Jerry came out of the bedroom, was angry, and said almost to himself, "Fine, I'm done." And then looking at William, "You were right." Jerry began to pack as well, and then William, for whatever reason, decided to go into the bedroom. "Are you okay?" "Helen, why would I be okay? I'm so far from okay." "What do you want to do?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, you look like you're going to have a panic attack." "I already did the other night. Like the one I had, hyperventilating with my bleeding nose and my hands and face getting all paralyzed and inflating like a puffer fish." "Yeah, except not my face. Why did your face do that?" "Who does that when that happens?" William touched her and she let him. He moved closer to her and put his arms around her. He missed her so much it made him feel ridiculous. He was in love with her still. Nothing had changed. She was some sort of undeniable, unique human being that he had encountered seemingly by chance, and now she was going away and he had no idea how to stop it all. William spoke again. "Do you imagine us both having an attack like that, writhing around, our hands and faces contorted on the floor, Jerry walking in on us? What do you think he'd do? He'd freak out so much." She laughed, he laughed, and then he started to cry. And then that made him laugh more, and she laughed more because he was laughing more, and they were both laughing with their wet faces, and he wished he could have her back right then, happy like that. But Jerry knocked on the door and tried to interfere. And things then started to happen faster than they should have, and William wasn't sure why, but he was saying things. Saying things like, "You should leave so I can get my stuff. I'm tired of you being here. I'm going to call the police because you're in my apartment." William was regretting this, and he was wishing he hadn't said any of those things, but they had already came out of his mouth, and Helen was getting mad again, and then Jerry was starting getting angry. He was going back in the room with Helen, and suddenly all William wanted to do was get his stuff and not be there anymore, not be reminded that she was with someone else new now. She came out of the bedroom, and Jerry demanded she come back into the bedroom. William demanded she come out to him, over near the couch. She looked at both of them, and she shook her head. "This is ridiculous. What am I supposed to do? I'm not a dog." William felt maybe the worst he had ever felt in his life. Almost, anyway. Probably completely, actually. He started to hate Jerry again, just wanted him to go away for a while. He thought it'd be so much easier if Jerry could just go away for a while. William was stepping out onto the balcony, and it was windy and sunny and hot for February. Jerry was standing in the living room. Helen had locked herself in the bedroom, and everyone was yelling about something different. William started to laugh, and then he moved to the edge of the balcony and started to climb over the railing. He was suddenly thinking, "This will get everyone to do what I want." Jerry stepped forward suddenly. "Oh, stop, get back over here. What the fuck, man? Stop, what are you doing? Oh my God, you're the craziest person I've ever met." William was smiling maniacally, and had stopped thinking about anything at this point. He looked down, 12 stories down. Families and children and old people were swimming in the pool below him. They all looked up and stared. He watched them and felt nothing. He felt nothing. Suddenly, Helen had emerged on the balcony from the bedroom and was starting to go over the railing as well. Jerry rushed to her and grabbed onto her wrist, and she was looking at William, and William was looking at her, and they were both waiting for the other to make their move, because they knew if one of them did it, the other would follow. What it came down to, what kept them from pushing off and letting go of that railing, was them not wanting the other to go. For if they were alone in it, they would have done it. They would have done it without thinking, giving it any sort of thought, just going. When they were all inside, Jerry had packed his backpack and was leaving, and Helen had fallen asleep in the bed, exhausted from everything. After assuring the police it had been called after someone had reported a man and woman hanging from the balcony, and that everything was fine, and no officer, we were just talking, and no officer, I'm just getting my things, we're not together anymore, William carried the last of his boxes to his car and got inside. As he pulled out of the parking garage, he didn't feel any better than when he had driven down there, and he felt equally confused and equally unfulfilled, and he thought to himself, I won't talk to her again, I won't call her tomorrow, I'll make this a moment where I'm changed. I'll be different from here on out, I won't need her. I'll start doing all the things I couldn't have done with her in my life. But after a while, after a little thought, missing the exit to his new home off the freeway and gently rubbing his ear, he knew, very surely, that he would definitely call her tomorrow. He would definitely talk to her tomorrow.